It's Monday, March 30th, 2020, and here's what's happening. The latest on the local COVID-19 outbreak, how officials are trying to stop the spread. Plus, a local child care leader joins us live with how she's trying to help essential workers during the outbreak.
A few rain showers are still falling out there this afternoon. That'll continue through the day, may mix with a few wet snowflakes tonight, but is there any warmer temperatures in sight? We'll talk about it next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, there was 2 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 over the weekend here in Chautauqua County. Officials say the 2 new cases include a woman in her 70s with no recent travel and a woman in her 30s with no recent travel outside of the country, but with travel to Erie County, New York. Chautauqua County's public health staff is now conducting an investigation to identify close contacts of the new cases. Now, during a press briefing on Friday, Christine Schuyler, the county's director of public health, explained why officials will no longer list specific locations where infected residents live.
And the last thing that I want to see happen are people picking up pitchforks and going on a witch hunt. That it's not right and it's not fair. We are in a pandemic with community spread. That means it's everywhere. It's no one's fault, and no one should be treated that way. Now is the time to band together, do what we can do to stop the spread of disease, not point fingers and not try to blame, and not be busybodies to try to figure out how much information we can figure out. I promise you, if there's something you need to know, we will tell you. If you have been a close contact, you will receive a phone call from one of my nurses.
So far, 21 people remain under a mandatory quarantine, 38 are in precautionary quarantine, and 22 are under a mandatory isolation order because they are symptomatic of the virus and lab testing results are pending. 3 additional cases of COVID-19 were reported Sunday in Cattaraugus County, bringing the total there to 5. The Cattaraugus County Health Department says that 2 men and 1 woman have tested positive. First, the man, who lives in the northwest portion of the county, had travel history to New York City and Buffalo. The second man lives in the southeast part of the county with no known travel history. Officials say, though, he visited the emergency room at Olean General Hospital with complaints of fever, cough, and diarrhea last week before he tested positive. The woman also lives in the northwest part of the county with travel history to Buffalo. Officials say they have begun contact tracing and will notify any close contacts and facilities visited by any of the confirmed cases. We'll prepare for at least another month of avoiding getting together. The novel coronavirus pandemic poses a significant threat, and people who are still being warned to avoid leaving home when possible. John Lawrence reports from our nation capital about how President Trump is now extending rules for staying together.
President Trump's dream to have churches filled on Easter Sunday won't come true.
We will be extending our guidelines to April 30th to slow the spread.
Confirmed cases of COVID-19 keep climbing, and health officials say people need to maintain a safe distance from one another.
We feel that the mitigation that we're doing right now is having an effect to extend this mitigation process until the end of April, I think was a wise and prudent decision.
The coronavirus has already killed more than 2,400 people in the U.S. President Trump says modeling shows the country's death rate may peak in about 2 weeks.
If we can hold that down, as we're saying, to 100,000, it's a horrible number. Maybe even less, but to 100,000. So we have between 100 and 200,000. We all together have done a very good job.
The U.S. has the most confirmed cases worldwide, with more than 139,000 as of Sunday night. Hospitals in some parts of the country expect to run out of beds within 2 weeks as more patients arrive.
We really have to have a new mentality, a new culture of hospitals working with one another. This is going to be all hands on deck. This is everybody helping everyone else.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, John, thank you. Meanwhile, New York State has extended its non-essential workforce policy regulations through mid-April. Governor Cuomo says the New York on Pause policy will now run through April 15th. This is the policy keeping 100% of the non-essential workforce at home. The governor made the announcement during Sunday's COVID-19 update. He says no one will treat the state unfairly over this pandemic.
New York is going to have what it needs, and no one is going to attack New York unfairly, and no one is going to deprive New York of what it needs. That's why I'm here. That's why we have a state full of very talented professional people.
Now, Saturday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a travel advisory urging residents of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to refrain non-essential domestic travel for 14 days. Surrounding states are also considering restricting against that travel in New York in an effort to mitigate the spread of the virus. But as of last check, no states have officially placed any restrictions. And again, that's just an advisory from the CDC. No mandates there. Well, let's switch gears a bit. Here's a sign of spring here locally. The Jamestown Police Department announced today that the city's monthly alternate parking rules will soon be in effect. Police say the rules will start on Wednesday, April 1st. Vehicles should be parked on the odd-numbered side of the street on odd-numbered months and should be parked on the even side of the street on even-numbered months. Police say vehicles should be moved at 10 a.m. on the first of each month, and a reminder, there's no grace period for parking on the wrong side of the street, so you could end up with a ticket if you didn't park correctly. Well, I go by everybody else out there in the world of parking, where if I see them on that side of the street, I'm like, well, the majority of the cars are over here. I know I probably should actually check the street numbers to make sure I'm parking in the right spot. Hopefully everybody's having a good day, and we thank you for joining us here on WNY News Now as we continue to put facts over fear in regards to the COVID-19 outbreak. Hopefully you get a chance over the weekend, because Sunday was absolutely beautiful outside, so hopefully you got a chance to unplug, get outside, and enjoy some of that weather. Gotta say hello to Joanna. Hopefully you're doing well. She says people should just stay home. It's not hard. Hello to Chris. Hopefully you're doing well. Butch, good afternoon to you. Cindy, hello to you. Hello to Lori, Sean. Hello to Tammy. Good to see you. Hopefully you're all having a good day. And we thank you for spending your Monday with us. Well, let's check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, who was a little busy yesterday. I know, Dakota, you were tracking the possibility for some thunderstorms, and I heard a couple of rumbles of thunder yesterday afternoon. Once I heard that, I was outside walking around, and I'm like, I got to get back inside because I hear the thunder.
Yep.
But it didn't seem like there was any two major storms, at least near where we are here in Jamestown.
Yeah, a lot of it was to our north, and Jay's got the right idea. When thunder roars, go indoors. That's the thing that we say all the time around here. And a lot of the severe weather was actually to our north. Now, there was a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Chautauqua County that clipped Dunkirk, but that storm went way to the north, so they actually canceled that long before it was actually set to expire. Here's First Defense Doppler radar. You can see that we've had a few rain showers, no storms though. That's the good news here. A lot of this is just rain, and this has been hightailing out to the east, but it will continue through the day. And how about the winds? It was gusty yesterday. 41 was the peak wind gust at Dunkirk yesterday, 40 at the Jamestown airport. That occurred in the afternoon hours, but we were so good yesterday. We had that severe thunderstorm watch. It was canceled yesterday, so obviously that was long gone before it was obviously set to expire at 6 o'clock. And it's still a little bit windy out there, obviously right now. These are the current wind speeds, not the wind gusts. 17 miles per hour is the current wind speed in Jamestown right now, 21 in Fredonia, 15 15 by the lake in Dunkirk, and 15 also in Clymer at the Mesonet site there. So as we take you through the rest of the afternoon here, showers will continue through the afternoon. It remains breezy through the day, much cooler than where it was. Temperature falls through the day. Our high temperatures have already occurred, so this is where we're going to end the day. 34 on the highest hills to 39 near the immediate Lake Erie shoreline with a west wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. Some of that rain may mix with a few wet snowflakes tonight, but we'll talk about that in full detail in just a few minutes if you can stand it. Jay?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Coming up next, we have a lot more to tell you about this half hour. How local child care centers are being affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. We speak with a leader of one here in Chautauqua County. in just a minute. Stay with us.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
This is Christine Schuyler, Chautauqua County Public Health Director, with a very important message. We need you to make every effort to protect yourselves and our healthcare workers. If you absolutely don't need to go out, don't. If you have a mild cold or flu-like symptoms, with or without a fever, stay home. If your symptoms are severe, call your healthcare provider. Do not go to the emergency room or urgent care. Do not call 911 or go to the ER unless you are experiencing a life-threatening emergency. The best ways you can help prevent the spread of COVID-19 are to wash your hands often with soap and water, cover your cough, avoid close contact with others. Please stay home.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Beth Starks, the founder and executive director of the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center, joins us live now with more on how the COVID-19 outbreak is affecting child care here locally. Beth, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in addition to the center you run here in Chautauqua County, you're also on the county committee that's dedicated to helping those find child care here locally. First off, I want to ask, how has COVID-19 affected local child care?
It has affected local childcare in a number of ways, both for the families and for the providers. First of all, childcare wanted to remain open and available for families who needed to continue working, and also make sure that we are keeping all of the children and staff safe and meeting the needs of the community.
Now, finding a place for children to go, especially for those essential workers, I would imagine is pretty critical. How does your organization work with different entities in the area to try to streamline that process?
So my child care center has worked along with the other providers, both child care centers and in-home providers in the community. We've created a team led by the Chautauqua County Child Care Council, working with school districts and the county, as well as the rest of the community, to make sure that we are all collaborating to meet the needs of families who are essential workers during this time.
Now, if someone was having trouble finding affordable child care, what type of resources do you have out there to try to help parents? Because I'm sure, especially, say, a nurse, right, who's one of those critical workers who really needs to focus on their job right now. I'd imagine for them it's probably pretty busy.
Definitely. And so what we've done is developed a short survey online. We put that out to businesses and to families through the school districts. And they can complete the short survey and indicate whether their need is immediate or if they anticipate a future need, and they will receive a call back from the Child Care Council. They also can call the Child Care Council's 1-800 number, 1-800-424-4532, and receive assistance from a professional there in both finding childcare and assistance in paying for childcare.
Now, what type of safety measures have child care centers like yours taken to keep not only the workers but also the children safe during this time?
So we have our standard sanitizing and cleaning procedures, as well as hand washing, and then we have made some changes based on recommendations and speaking with both the state Office of Children and Family Services that licenses us, as well as our county health department and the state health department, making sure that we're as safe as possible. So we have a few new procedures. So we've changed our exclusionary policy to be a little bit more rigid, and that means that that we're making sure that everyone that that it is at the center is healthy, both staff and children. And we are checking temperatures as staff and children enter for the day, as well as midway through the day.
Now, what type of age groups does your center see here in Chautauqua County?
So we're licensed for children 6 weeks all the way through 12 years.
Okay. So do you have different type of activities for them? Because I know now with school being out, if someone, say Monday through Friday, wanted to was an essential worker, maybe a nurse somewhere, who needed their child to have this care, will you be able to help them with this remote schooling that they're having? What's that process like?
Absolutely. So all of our classrooms, from the infant room through school age, all of the lead teachers have their bachelor's. Most of them have their master's in early childhood. They are teachers, and so they're able to assist with that schoolwork as the families desire, so that we can take some of that burden off of the families as well.
Wow, I imagine that's probably a really big thing that people look forward to when looking for a child care and having that type of resource, is that, you know, it's not just a babysitter. We're trying to work with your child on skills, so even during this kind of time where the schedule's bumped off, they can still have that education.
Absolutely, and we do so much with the children. They are learning through hands-on activities all the time in every one of the classrooms, and we are making sure that we're meeting their needs in every one of their developmental areas. So making sure that we go outside and play and meet their motor needs, as well as their social emotional needs, which are so critical during this time period. And they're all continuing to learn through play and through active learning.
And let's talk about that a little bit more as we're looking at some of the pictures that you've sent us today of kids kind of playing in the creek and playing outside a little bit. I imagine during this time it's really important, especially for families, to stay together and keep things positive, and that play, trying to keep that as normal as possible, probably is a big thing to trying to keep morale up and keep people in a positive direction.
It is, and so we're modifying. So the pictures that I sent you are not from last week or this week. We are modifying activities to make sure that we are engaging in social distancing, and it's also important that we keep children active and busy. And so we lease space from the Chautauqua Lake School, and they've been amazing in cleaning and sanitizing our indoor spaces, but as well our outdoor spaces that we use. And so we're making sure that we're as safe as possible and also meeting the needs of the children.
What type of tips would you give to parents to try to keep their families functioning well during this time? Because with not being in school and the routines are so disrupted, I imagine it's stressful on the adults, and that probably translates to the kiddos too.
Absolutely. And I do know that a lot of families are struggling right now with trying to keep up with academics and feel some of that pressure. And I would tell all of the families that children learn through any activities that they're doing. So as important as it is to try to keep up with their academics, sitting and reading a book with a child, going for a walk, cooking with them, all of those activities have so much learning in them. And so it's important to families to play a game, to spend time with one another, and to try to take that pressure off themselves and the children as well.
All right. Well, Beth, thank you so much for being here. Beth Starks, the founder and executive director of the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center. We really appreciate it. And to learn more
Absolutely. Thank you.
About her child care center, you can visit them at clccc.org. The address again is clccc.org. Well, let's now get a check of our weather forecast with Dakota. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Jay. And, even though some areas across the southern tier didn't get a whole lot of rain, we actually did get some rain totals in this morning. Mayville's the winner at 0.75 inches, almost 3/4 of an inch of rain there. Randolph at 0.28, Falconer at 0.21, Frewsburg at 0.02 of an inch, and Jamestown only 0.9 only 0.09 inches, 900ths of an inch of rain gauged at the airport yesterday. Look at these highs yesterday. Can you believe this? We topped out at 72 yesterday, 77 in Dunkirk, 76 in Erie. That was before that cold front moved through. When that cold front moved through, those temperatures dropped like hotcakes as the rain came in and the temperatures dropped. We're nowhere near that. We're at 41 right now here in town, 40 in Mayville, 42 Clymer, 42 Corey. It's actually a little warmer down here in Northwestern PA, both Warren and TDU at 46 degrees, but it is a lot cooler today. Hey, if you're looking for something to do tonight, how about Storm Spotter training? National Weather Service in Buffalo has their online Storm Spotter training tonight at 7 o'clock, and it is free. All you need to do is go to weather.gov/buff, B-U-F, slash Skywarn to sign up, and it is free to attend. We need more storm spotters, so I highly encourage you. This is good for the kids, any age from 2 years old to 99 years old can do the storm spotter training. It is fun. It lasts about an hour and a half. It is fun, and it's all done online tonight. So we need more spotters. Please, please, please consider joining one of these storm spotter sessions. It is fun. You'll learn a lot, and we need more spotters, and it's fun for the entire family. There's some nice quarantine stuff for you to do. Here we go on live Doppler radar. You can see we have a few of these rain showers in the northern part of Chautauqua County. These are not a big deal. Obviously, nothing like we had yesterday, mainly to the north in Buffalo, where we had those strong thunderstorms yesterday. Cat County, a little bit of a rain shower here near Salamanca. You saw that on the camera at the top of the show. A little bit of that rain falling out there, heading out towards Franklinville and Olean, and that'll continue through the afternoon. And you can see a lot of the widespread rain now has started to taper off, but we're getting into some of this scattered activity, and that will continue through the afternoon and especially tonight. Here's Future Scan, newest run of the in-house model, showed you that scattered rain showers continuing through the afternoon, but watch what happens here. We get into some colder air tonight. We may mix in a few wet snowflakes. Now the good news here, before you go, Hunter, well, the good news here is that the snow is going to be wet. We don't think it's really going to accumulate. Little to no accumulation expected by tomorrow morning. But don't be surprised if you are out tonight, if you're out doing something, social distance, you know that, 6 feet apart. If you're outside, you may see a few wet snowflakes, but it's not going to accumulate. If you see anything, less than an inch, and the best chance for that's going to be on the hills. Tomorrow we dry out in the afternoon after a few rain and snow showers in the morning, then high pressure builds in for the rest of the week. And it's going to be a vaguely not bad week, but cooler though for the rest of the week here before we get to the weekend. Zone forecast here, Lake Erie shoreline. You're ending the day in the upper 30s here. The highs have already occurred. We're slipping back already. Lake Erie temperature still at 38 degrees. The inland areas today, same deal here, mid to lower 30s here. The valleys will likely go down into the lower 30s, especially the valleys and the hills. Most everybody mid-30s through the afternoon. How about the future? The next 7 days of your life are coming up. 41 degrees tomorrow, 45 on Wednesday. High pressure starts to build in later tomorrow, and that leads us to several days of nice weather. The temperatures will also respond with that as well, going up to 50 by Friday. We squeeze out a nice mild day on Saturday at 55. Then we see another frontal system moving in on Sunday. That'll bring us a few rain showers, but we stay in the lower 50s. Jay?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Got a lot more to tell you about. Coming up next, this is kind of a fun one. Why a new study says we can't resist the carbs during self-isolation. Guilty as charged. Details next.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back. Are you losing sleep, craving those carbs? Well, I tell you, you're not alone. There's a scientific reason why self-isolation may be affecting our health. Our Mandy Gaithner with some tips on how to help.
If you're caving into those carbs and tossing and turning at night, it may be your body's reaction to the stress that's surrounding you. Poor sleep affects the part of your body that regulates appetite, metabolism, and more, leaving us craving fatty, starchy, sugary foods. But even during self-isolation, there are ways to get healthier sleep. First, keep a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed at night and get up at the same time each day. That will help train your brain to expect sleep. Get out of the house for at least 15 minutes each day. The daylight helps your body clock. Exercise. It can improve sleep. No caffeine after 3 p.m. No screen time before bed. The blue lights emitted can mess with your body clock. Make sure your bedroom is dark and cool. Researchers say we tend to sleep better in cooler temperatures. Bottom line, getting those Z's may help you put down the junk food. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, Mandy, some great tips there. Thank you. You can also try relaxation techniques before bed, like deep breathing or meditation. And certainly during this time, it is a little bit harder, I would imagine, to try to keep those routines, especially if you're trying to work from home, because over the weekend, my girlfriend and I didn't really do anything at all. We just kind of stayed home, chillaxed the best we can, and drove each other a little crazy. That's for sure. Hopefully everybody's having a good Monday. We thank you so much for joining us here as we continue to try to put facts over fear and updating you about the novel coronavirus and its effects locally, but also updating you on important information and tips to try to keep yourself healthy as we move throughout this time. Got to say hello to Tammy, Sarah, David. He chimes in. He says, I have a 5-year-old that refuses to stay isolated every day. Thank God for the Riverwalk. And certainly parks are still open. Officials just reminding everybody, keep your distance from each other. Family units, stay together. And no matter how social we want to be, right? We're social beings. We can't be right next to each other all the time during this time. Well, let's check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And man, I've missed you, Dakota. You used to come in every day and you'd sit next to me. And now,
miss you. I miss you.
Yeah, it's like we're just, they got us in boxes now. It's like, stay your distance.
Yeah. We have cubicles.
Yeah. I got to tell everybody about this email. This came out last week. And I always get myself in trouble for ratting out the behind-the-scenes stuff. But it's so quiet here. It's literally you, myself, and our producer. Mm-hmm. And we don't have contact with each other at all throughout the day. Like, I go to my desk in the newsroom. I talk to you over the phone. I call your extension, and that's it.
Yep.
Like, we're just so... It's kind of sad, but you know what? That's what we have to do to try to get through this.
That's true.
It's so tough.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, even in our daily meetings that we have, like you know, every morning we have like a daily meeting where we kind of discuss what we're going to be talking about in the show, what the show rundown's going to be. I mean, you know, we really don't even do that in person anymore. We kind of communicate that through text message or whatever. We're talking about, hey, we might have this on the show, or hey, weather might be a little short today because of this. So it's like, you know, I miss kind of being in the men meeting. I guess is what they call it.
Right. When we're right next to each other and can interact with each other, but we got to do what we got to do to keep it safe. And I think the one big thing too is I just want to tell everyone here, you know, I thank our crew for what we're going through, because we still have a lot of people working remotely. I know like Norm, he's not on the show right now because he's taking some time off because there's so much to talk about in regards to the coronavirus that we've got to make those steps, but we're still trying to keep everyone updated online for some other news. And there was a lot of people out there who were talking about, well, what about some non-coronavirus related news? Well, in our news meeting today, and this has been the case last week, it's kind of hard because everything is so transformed. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Yeah.
Where the world has been so consumed by one topic that it's hard to hear and talk about other things. I mean, it's besides the weather, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, even then, though, like, that still plays a role in what's happening. And it's like the National Weather Service training here that's tonight. Great training. If you can, I'm certified, which has been great. Dakota forced us to do it, and I'm so happy you did. That was the most fun I've had in learning kind of the behind the scenes about the weather. But that even now, Dakota, is online.
Yeah.
Because of all that has happened.
Yeah, and I mean, some offices started doing more online classes several years ago, mainly due to staff shortages within the National Weather Service. But now a lot of these have to be done online simply just for social distancing reasons and health concerns. So, I mean, a lot of what we did, or kind of what we do, has kind of been turned upside down because of this. But hey, you know what? We're all living through it together. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. Just maintain distance, be safe, just stay inside as much as you can. I know you get stir crazy sometimes, but if you do that, we'll come out of it and we'll be just fine. Speaking about the Storm Spotter training, wanted to mention it one last time. It is tonight at 7 o'clock online. All you have to do to sign up is go to weather.gov/BUF/Skywarn, and you just sign up. It's free to sign up. It's tonight at 7 o'clock. We need more storm spotters. Again, radar is a great tool, but it looks above the ground. Only spotters see at the ground, and that's what's most important to us, is what's going on at ground level. The ground truth when it comes to weather is so important. So please consider signing up for that. More online classes are to come, and of course, we'll talk about those when we get closer to those dates. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you. And again, as he mentioned, the eyes on the ground, whether you're safely able to send us video about news stories happening in the community or even for weather, we certainly appreciate it, as long as you can please do it safely. That's it for us today. News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We're back tomorrow right here live at noon. I hope to see you then.